Right now, live at 5, HibTac idled. The third mine to reduce operations this month leaves hundreds of workers without a job on the Iron Range.
Coming up tonight, see how an educational program is helping kids in Proctor cope with COVID-19.
And the president is shutting down immigration to America. This as Congress continues negotiating an aid deal to help small businesses keep employees on the payroll. Plus, 3 inmates at the Willow River Correction Facility have tested positive for COVID-19.
You're watching Live at 5 on Live Local CBS3.
Welcome to the CBS3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look from Hibbing, where HibTac has suspended operations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Good afternoon, I'm Anthony Matt. We'll hear from Kristen in just a moment. Thanks for joining us. Another round of layoffs on the Iron Range. This time it's at Hibbing Taconite. This brings the total number of people laid off to nearly 1,500 in local mines alone. CBS3's Kristen Vaki joins us live from Hibbing, where HibTac employees learned the news within the last 24 hours that come May, they won't be going to work. Kristen.
Tony, we're at the entrance of Hibbing Taconite, where people have been going in and out all day long, but come May 3rd, it will be a much different scene here, as 650 people will not be returning to work. Now, this is the third round of layoffs announced in just the last week, as the steel industry continues to struggle with the effects of COVID-19. Chris Johnson is president of United Steelworkers Local 2705, representing HibTac employees. He said they've been discussing the possibility of this happening for a while now, but he did not expect so many workers to be laid off. He also mentioned his disappointment and frustration in how the announcement was made. Johnson found out about the shutdown at the same time his members did, which was on social media instead of through the company. Nonetheless, he says his focus is on making sure union workers are prepared for what's to come, and that includes applying for unemployment. As for what his members are saying about the layoffs, Johnson said it's been a mixed bag of reactions.
We've got some higher risk people with this COVID, according to the CDC, that are kind of at ease for being able to be at home and still have some income coming in. And then we have the staunch, I want to work. I worked my whole life, I want to work.
Johnson says the union will be meeting with the company tomorrow to discuss the next steps, who will continue working and who will be laid off.
To the economy, but what about the businesses that work directly with the mines and rely on their operations day to day?
With the shutdown of a major employer like the mines, is that trickle-down effect? The mining industry creates many spin-off jobs around the region. So if the mines aren't producing pellets, those spin-off industries are being impacted as well. Tonight at 6, we'll hear of the Hibbing Chamber of Commerce on how they're preparing for this loss of industry.
CBS3's Kristen Vaki on the range for us tonight. Thanks, Kristen. Meanwhile, Grand Rapids Paper Mill is temporarily shutting down, blaming economic fallout from the coronavirus pandemic. UPM Blandon cites market forces for shutting down its Grand Rapids mill. The plant's general manager told several news outlets they are taking short-term measures to respond to market conditions. According to UPM Blandon's website, the paper mill employs 400 people. Alarming new statistics released today concerning our state's roadways. Fatal crashes in Minnesota have almost doubled since the beginning of the coronavirus and social distancing protocols. That's compared to the same amount of time in 2019. There were 25 fatal crashes in Minnesota from mid-March to mid-April. That's up 8 from this time last year. Meanwhile, the number of fatalities has jumped from 18 to 29. Authorities have gotten increased reports of aggressive driving and significant speeding violations, some more than 100 miles per hour.
The chances of being injured, seriously injured or killed are also increased with the higher speeds that we're seeing. Also, the amount of fines that are going to be come along with speeding violations. And of course, in Minnesota, typically, if you're going 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, it's going to be a $110 fine. And now you're tacking on the other fees that accompany that. So it's pretty close to $200 for those fees.
And tonight at 6, we'll learn more on what's behind the trend. In Wisconsin, Vice President Mike Pence toured a manufacturing plant in Madison today. The Vice President was in Wisconsin to check in on how the production of ventilators GE Healthcare has gone to 3 shifts operating around the clock to boost production of these essential medical devices. Pence said the U.S. will reach a target of manufacturing 110,000 ventilators in 100 days.
You all have played a leading role in ensuring that our incredible healthcare providers have the resources and the equipment that they need to save lives.
Meanwhile, 2 Democratic senators from Wisconsin have told President Trump that their state does not have the supplies it needs to combat coronavirus. Meanwhile, we've now learned 7 people in Wisconsin contracted the coronavirus while voting in the April 7th election. Wisconsin health officials say they would be the first such cases since the state held in-person voting despite widespread concern about the health risks. The conditions of the 7, all in Milwaukee, were not available. 6 are voters and 1 is a poll worker. The Senate approved a measure to give billions more dollars to small businesses and hospitals after a week of negotiations. Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
The bill as amended is passed.
The Senate has passed a nearly $500 billion deal that will give additional funding for hospitals, coronavirus testing, and small business relief programs.
The Senate is continuing to stand by the American people.
The hard work of bipartisan negotiation paid off.
Lawmakers estimate the Paycheck Protection Program has a backlog of hundreds of thousands of applications.
I've made a lot of decisions in reliance on that loan coming in. Right?
Doug Nevin, owner of a small New York law firm, was approved by his bank, then learned the money had run out.
It's unfortunately just creating a lot of uncertainty for employers at a time when employers are trying to maintain their businesses and maintain their payroll.
Monday night, the president tweeted he would take executive action to temporarily halt immigration, but didn't offer details. The State Department has already been restricting visas since last month due to the coronavirus.
I think that countries around the world have more or less controlled their borders to preserve, the health of their citizens.
Vice President Mike Pence traveled to Wisconsin to tour a GE facility building ventilators.
We've confronted the coronavirus epidemic across this country as one nation.
GE is one of several U.S. companies expected to produce tens of thousands of ventilators by the end of the summer after the president invoked the Defense Production Act.
President Trump hosted a White House meeting with a group of conservative House Republicans, followed by another with New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to discuss COVID-19 testing and the gradual reopening of the country. Let's take a quick look at the number of cases around our region. Michigan has nearly 33,000 cases and 2,700 deaths. Minnesota has more than 2,500 cases with 160 deaths. And Wisconsin has 4,600 cases with 242 deaths. Worldwide, there are 2.5 million cases with nearly 700,000 recoveries. All right, Dave joins us for a quick look at the weather. Hey, Dave, pretty sunny and mild day out there for a lot of us today.
Yeah, a nice break from what it was like this time yesterday when the winds were gusty and there was snow coming down. But really, we're just taking a break from those conditions. They will return tonight as another low-pressure system comes to call with just enough cold and just enough moisture to make a rain and snow mix that'll last tonight and through a portion of tomorrow as well. Now, let's get a live local look at what's going on up towards the Ely area. Like I mentioned last week, our friends near Schwamigan Bay and Ashland had the lake open up. The bay is open. Well, Robinson Lake just outside of Ely, even though all the snow is gone from around the shoreline and the highway, the lake is still tight with ice. And temperature-wise, we're going to be cooler than normal for the next couple of days, like I mentioned yesterday. But once we get towards the weekend, I think the 50s will start to cross our path once again. But for our day planner for Wednesday shows, 30% chance for a morning mix, 30% chance tomorrow for rain around noontime, and then mostly cloudy but dry for a little while. I think these mixes could last a couple more days past tomorrow. We'll talk about when they'll end and when sunshine returns in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Still to come on Live at 5, celebrating 90 years with the parade in Ashland, plus a donation is keeping kids reading in Grand Rapids. And tonight at 6, we learn more on Minnesota's latest efforts against the COVID-19 pandemic and how state agencies are working to keep the most vulnerable citizens safe.
You're watching Live at 5 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live Local CBS3. Get your news on the go. The CBS3 mobile app.
The Garage, it's your space. Get a garage fit for all of your agricultural needs with our Farmer 40x40 garage. Store all the equipment needed to get the job done. No matter what you put in your space, trust us to build it right. Economy Garages. Built right, priced right.
Make your house a home for a lifetime with Scott Diedrichson Construction. From siding, windows, roofing, decks, and doors, we deliver the highest quality construction and remodeling services for all of your needs. Call or visit us at scottdiedrichson.com today and set up an appointment to receive your free estimate. Scott Diedrichson Construction, restoring the beauty of your home.
Hi, Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz here. We're in an unprecedented battle against the COVID-19 virus. The state of Minnesota is doing everything possible to keep you safe, but we need your help. We need you to stay home. Flatten the curve on COVID. Let's get through this thing together.
Find your favorite CW shows on the Duluth CW, cable, satellite, over the air, and streaming on KDLH Duluth.
I am most excited about getting to really know the viewers in the Northland and getting to show my personality too and letting the Northland kind of get to know me. I'm a very energetic person. I'm always at 100 and I'm always excited to be able to tell stories and being able to have a little bit of fun with it too. And I think that's really, really important on a morning show as well because you need that energy in the morning to wake you up.
Wake up with Austin and Jenna at 5 a.m. When you watched CBS3 Live at 5, you saw the news and weather of the day that affected you most.
Essentia took action.
Elected officials are encouraging everyone to vote.
Race course up the North Shore.
You received a live, local look at what was happening around you, your family, and your
The
neighbors.
city of Hayward competing
For the Red Cliff Band in Wisconsin.
crafters in Gilbert to a sewing factory.
For stories that are focused on the communities you live and work in, right down to your neighborhood. Continue watching CBS3 Live at 5, weekdays at 5 on Live Local CBS3.
Welcome back to the CBS3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look from Bayfield. Dave Anderson will have more for your weekday weather report coming up in just a bit. But first, let's see what's happening in the rest of the region. A donation is keeping kids reading in Grand Rapids, plus celebrating 90 years in Ashland. That and more as we take you around the Northland, city by city. Starting things off tonight in Ashland, Wisconsin, where a resident and local business owner celebrated 90 years in a special way. Don Moore was joined by family and friends as they held a safe, social distance parade down Main Street. Now to Cook, Minnesota, where an event normally intended to kick off summer activities has been canceled. The Cook Timber Days Festival, which was set to be held the second weekend of June, will not happen this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The festival joins other activities across the Northland that have been canceled due to the pandemic. Now up to Grand Rapids, where the area Friends of the Library program, which provides reading opportunities for children and teens in the area, has received a generous grant of $2,500 from the Grand Rapids Area Community Foundation. The grant was made possible by donations from several community funds. If there's something going on in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, go ahead, send us an email and it might be featured as we go around the Northland city by city. Still to come on Live at 5, how the Proctor School District is refocusing an old program to challenge students. Plus, Dave will have a look at your extended weather forecast right after the break.
Find your favorite CW shows on the Duluth CW, cable, satellite, over the air, and streaming on KDLH Duluth.
It's time for the biggest sale of the year. It's time for the Toro Spring Sales Event. It's time to head to your local Toro dealer, where you can save up to $750 on select Toro Z-Masters, up to $600 on select Toro Time Cutters, and up to $500 on select Toro Grandstands and Titan HDs, plus special financing offers on brand new Toro equipment. Toro, count on it. For more info on great deals and financing offers, visit your local Toro dealer.
Take on your to-do list. Save $40 on any AK Series double battery bundle. Not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Always at a local Steel dealer.
DBS, your all things basement-y company. Does your home have uneven or sloping floors? How about cracked drywall, stair-stepping cracks, or bowed basement walls? You may have a problem with your foundation. Call the specialists at DBS. They thoroughly inspect your property and provide a permanent solution to your foundation problem. We offer a fully transferable warranty, unmatched in our area. Contact DBS, your all things basement-y company, for a free, no-obligation estimate. Call or visit us online. DBS, helping your family have a healthy, safe, and comfortable home.
If you're over mac and cheese and PB&J's, have we got good news for you? Right now, get Pizza Hut's best delivery deal. Large pizzas with up to 3 toppings for just $9.99. Available for carryout or contactless delivery at pizzahut.com.
Get your news on the go. The CBS3 mobile app. Always on the go, but want to keep up with the day's news? Don't worry. Now we are wherever you are. Traveling? No problem. Stream wherever, whenever with live local CBS3.
Get local weather from local people right here on CBS3.
CBS3 weather is brought to you by Economy Garages.
Well, with the sunshine, it didn't feel so bad out here today. I don't have to wear my stocking cap, but actual air temperatures are still far cooler than normal and will stay that way until the weekend. Finally, by Saturday, I think we'll become normal as far as temperatures go. But until then, it will be cool enough for rain and snow chances to pop up, and they could pop up again later on this evening, despite the sunny sky we see right now. So on that note, let us eye up the current conditions from our favorite hometowns all around the region, and we're going to see that right now most of us have a sunnier sky, but to the west, farther to the west over by Bemidji, the clouds are thickening. That's another trough of lower pressure that's coming our way, and that could bring us a rain-snow mix again in just a matter of a couple of hours. So the sunshine, well, when sun sets, it'll go away, but then the clouds will overtake the clear sky, and conditions are going to be changing. Conditions right now of the current variety at the airport in Duluth, 41 degrees. Normal's around 51, though, so we're undercutting it by 10. Westerly, northwesterly wind is going 12 miles per hour, and our air pressure on the higher side at 1,015 millibars. Stop and think about the textbooks. They say 1,013 is normal, but normal in real life is usually pretty hard to achieve. Doppler map right now shows some of those rain-snow mixes already entering the central and northern parts of Minnesota in advance of a small trough of lower pressure. We can call it an Alberta clipper. So we're looking at 30% chance for the mix in Minnesota tonight, maybe even a 50% chance of a mix once we get into Wisconsin, because a little lake moisture will help feed the system. And that mixed chance does linger at least through the noon hour on Wednesday. Yesterday, I was thinking that high pressure cell from the west would beat that low into our region, and we'd have a dry Wednesday. Now it looks like it's the other way around, so it looks like a wet Wednesday, and maybe even wet Thursday and Friday as well, as that lower pressure system continues to drag through the area, keeping the high at bay now perhaps until Saturday or so. So on that note, let us eye up now the week's forecast for the next 7 days, and that's going to show tonight in Minnesota won't be quite as chilly as we had this morning. We're looking for low temps to go from about 23 to 31. We can thank the thickening cloud cover for that, and that thickening cloud cover does kick out a 40% chance for a mix for many Minnesota towns and a 30% chance for others. Into Wisconsin, Michigan, 50% chance for the mix, with low temps running the range of 27 to 30 degrees. So not quite as chilly. Southerly wind, that's helping to bump the temperatures up. Forecast for Wisconsin and Michigan tomorrow shows high temps running 45 to 53. So down around Hayward, just might get a little bit warmer than normal, while the rest of Wisconsin and the UP a little bit cooler than normal. 30% chance for the rain-snow mix through about the noon hour. And in Minnesota, it's a 30% chance for the rain-snow mix through about the noon hour as well, with temperatures in the 40s in the Arrowhead, but getting into the lower 50s down towards Moose Lake and out towards Aiken. So we're slowly trying to warm up, and the extended forecast is going to show that we do cross the threshold finally into the 50s by Saturday and Sunday, and we shake off the mixed chances. Looks like a pretty decent weekend, Tony. And then on Monday, well, we hold on to the 50s.
Looks like a pretty decent payoff after we get through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday here. Thanks, Dave. Well, more help is on the way for those struggling to pay their energy bills. Minnesota leaders announced changes to the state's energy assistance program today. You now have more time to apply for that help and more income levels qualify. We have more information on what this means for you on our website, CBS3Duluth.com. Applications have been pouring in for $1.2 million in grants aimed at helping Duluth businesses hit by COVID-19. The 1200 Fund nonprofit announced the grants yesterday. 24 hours later, they've had more than 100 applications, with 50 more waiting to be reviewed. The 1200 Fund leaders wanted to emphasize these grants are for Duluth businesses only. They also need enough financial background information for a business to be considered. The 1200 Fund is hoping to reach businesses that didn't have luck receiving state or federal funding. The board plans to meet next week and hope to have the grants awarded quickly. Well, learning at home comes with different challenges for each student. Now, one Northland school district is challenging its students to harness those difficulties into a creative outlet, and there are scholarships on the line. CBS 3's Emma Quinn explains how the Proctor School District has refocused an old funding program to help its students.
Proctor's Rails Endowment for Academic Art and Athletic Development, also known as Reed Cubed, was founded in 1996 as a way to support those areas through grants. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they've had to change routes. Now they're encouraging kids to reflect on how they're coping with COVID-19 and the challenges that come with it. Last week, Reed Cubed created a challenge for students to submit a project that shows how they're coping with COVID-19. K through 12 Proctor students can submit artwork, a video of them playing sports, or an essay that explains how their life has been impacted or changed by the pandemic. Reed Cubed officials say they will pick 12 of those students to receive a $100 scholarship they can put towards advancing themselves in the arts, academics, or athletics. Officials say the goal is to give back, but also help students reflect during this time.
And I'll go back and remember 9/11, or if we have older parents, or we remember, what happened at Pearl Harbor. And for them, this is a pivotal and a defining moment for them to talk about how it affected them.
There will be at least one winner from each Proctor school district. Officials say the prize money could be used for things like a new art kit, sports equipment, or for those heading to college in the fall, a book. Deadline for submissions is May 30th. The winners will be picked at the Reed Cubed board meeting in June.
Thanks, Emma. Still to come, 3 inmates at the Willow River Correction Facility have tested positive for COVID-19. And tuition has now been frozen for students enrolled in the University of Minnesota system.
Hi, John with Prime Appliance, and our big 6% instant rebate sale has been extended through May 15th. Take another 6% off our entire in-stock and on-sale selection. Get your clothes sanitized with these stackable or side-by-side GE laundry pairs in blue, white, or titanium. All with high temperature boost to keep your laundry safe and clean, now starting at just $16.45 after rebate. Financing always available. Get it delivered or take it home today. Prime Appliance in Superior, the best place to buy your appliances.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
CBS 3 is going live at 5, focusing on bringing you hyper-local news and weather. Getting the stories that impact your community the most, right down to your neighborhood.
130-year-old. We're live outside the Husky Refinery.
The city of Duluth is getting a new hockey rink.
A new convention center is coming to Virginia.
Special ed here in Finland welcomes the mushers from the...
CBS 3, live at 5.
Kelly Hinseth takes her job at full throttle. There's no slowing down. She's full of enthusiasm.
Kelly brings a youthful exuberance to the newscast. She's loaded with energy. She's really passionate about sports.
I think even if you're not interested in sports, she draws you in.
She's always up and ready to go and ready to show us the latest in sports.
Get to know Kelly Hinseth, weekday nights on live local CBS 3.
Hi, Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz here. During this unprecedented battle against the COVID-19 virus, I want to say how grateful I am for Minnesota's willingness to help one another. I also want to make sure that I say, continue to watch your local news stations. Local news and local newspapers are putting out facts and not fear, and that's what it's going to take to get through this together. If you need more information, please go to the Minnesota Department of Health website. Together, Minnesotans will defeat this and come out better on the other side. Thank you.
On behalf of the over 400,000 accredited businesses that support our services across North America, BBB salutes those individuals who cannot shelter in place. Many remain on the front lines, delivering essential services, often at great risk and sacrifice, to enrich or save lives in this time of desperate need. Thank you. Eventually, the all clear will sound, and we will begin returning to normal. Hopefully, we will never forget how much we missed our normal while it was away.
I want people to tune in, and I want them to see a friend, because I'm a mother and I know how hard it can be. You're doing all these things and then you have the child and then no one talks to you about how lonely it can be. You know, who do you lean to? Who do you connect with? This segment is very important to me because I get to work, but I also get to work on my passion.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with Leanne Valdez on CBS3.
Three inmates at the Willow River Correction Facility have tested positive for COVID-19. That update coming from the Minnesota's Corrections Department today. The facility is a minimum security military-style boot camp for men serving sentences for nonviolent crimes. It's located about 8 miles away from the Moose Lake Prison, which has 14 positive COVID-19 cases. Last week, the Minnesota National Guard delivered cots, allowing the facility to keep up with social distance and quarantine guidelines. The University of Minnesota will freeze tuition for most students next school year in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The tuition freeze applies to all students on the university's 5 campuses, except for those enrolled in 3 professional programs. University President Joan Gable proposed the tuition freeze, which was unanimously approved by the Board of Regents today. Administrators say the freeze will provide financial relief to current students and help attract new students during the pandemic. Several regents say they would like the university to go further, asking Gable to reduce tuition as well. Wisconsin has officially shut down the state's spring sports season. The WIAA made that announcement today. It comes after Wisconsin's governor announced last week that schools will continue distance learning through the rest of the academic year. According to a tweet, it impacts all high school level competitions and tournaments scheduled for this spring.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News tonight, the CDC director warning a second wave of coronavirus in the winter will likely be worse. Plus, we'll meet the disease detectives in Massachusetts, tasked with tracking down and alerting people who have had contact with someone who's had COVID-19. And we've got a Profiles in Service, how a retired Army colonel rallied fellow veterans to care for the sick in the epicenter of the crisis. That's all tonight here on the CBS Evening News.
Find your favorite CW shows on the Duluth CW, cable, satellite, over the air, and streaming on KDLH Duluth.
At Papa Murphy's, we knead seriously, chop seriously, and shred seriously. Because we're serious about Tuesdays, even if you're not. Every Tuesday, get a large pizza for just $10. Papa Murphy's, change the way you pizza.
Our goal is an environment of decency, quality, and mutual respect for all human beings and all other living creatures. It's tremendously encouraging to see all across this country the remarkable interest on an issue, which is not only just an issue of survival, but an issue of how we survive.
A small idea, a world of change. Join us on April 22nd to commemorate 50 years of Earth Day.
They're live, they're local. Watch the CBS3 News with Kristen Baki and Anthony Matt tonight at 6, right after the CBS Evening News at 5:30.
For breaking stories that impact the Northland most, turn to CBS3. Watch Anthony Matt weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m. on live local CBS3 Duluth.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with me, Leanne Valdez on CBS3.
Watch Anthony Matt weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m. on live local CBS3 Duluth.
New tonight. Liven up your living room with a new tribute to the music of Prince.
He set the stage for all of us.
With Beck, Common, Her, John Legend, Foo Fighters, Sheila E., St. Vincent, Usher, Miguel, and Coldplay's Chris Martin. Experience Prince like never before.
I'm so excited.
The Grammy Salute to Prince, a new special tonight on CBS.
Find your favorite CW shows on the Duluth CW, cable, satellite, over the air, and streaming on KDLH Duluth.
Welcome back to the CBS3 News live at 5. Here's a live look over the Duluth Harbor this Tuesday afternoon, where it was a sunny and mild day for many of us. Now, before we let you go, let's take a look at the top stories from 5 o'clock and take a peek at what's coming up later this evening. Another round of layoffs on the Iron Range. This time it's at Hibbing Taconite. This brings the total number of people laid off to nearly 1,500 in local mines alone. This is a third round of layoffs at Iron Range mines announced in just the last week, as the steel industry continues to struggle with the effects of COVID-19. Tonight at 6, we'll learn more on how the Hibbing Chamber of Commerce is bracing for a trickle-down effect for the area's economy. Meanwhile, Vice President Mike Pence toured a manufacturing plant in Madison today to check out the production of ventilators. GE Healthcare has gone to 3 shifts operating around the clock to boost production of these essential medical devices. Pence said the U.S. will reach a target of manufacturing 110,000 ventilators in 100 days. And tonight on the CBS3 News at 6, alarming new statistics released today concerning our state's roadways. Fatal crashes in Minnesota have almost doubled since the beginning of the coronavirus and social distancing protocols. That's compared to the same amount of time in 2019. Tonight at 6, we're going live to find out what officers are saying about the new numbers and why it has jumped so high. That's your news at 5 tonight. The CBS3 Evening News is next. We'll see you back here at 6.